All right, that's all the preamble. Go ahead, Dan.
Scott, thank you very much. I want to just make sure everybody, if you can give me a quick sound check. I want to make sure that I'm coming in loud and clear. We got a hell of a show.
You sound pretty loud, and you sound pretty clear to me, Dan.
Brad Williams, my trusty pal, Chief Operating Officer, good buddy, a guy who knows trade ideas like no other. Brad, we got a hell of a show for the people today.
We do. I like Scott jumping right into the holiday of today. That's fantastic. So,
the holiday, right. So listen, before hell of a show, we only have an hour. I wish we had more. I haven't even started showing anything yet. Don't worry. Don't worry, it's coming. Here we go. Okay. Now, is everyone able to see my screen? Brad, yourself included.
yeah, your desktop looks fine. Looks like we can see the presentation, or the first page of it anyway.
Okay. So let's start with the disclaimer. Ladies and gentlemen, Trade Ideas is not a registered investment advisor. All the information that we provide through our software, whether it be Trade Ideas Pro or the web or any of these webinars, is for educational and informational purposes only. If you need professional advice on investing, please conduct or contact a broker or a registered investment advisor. Okay, so with that said, Brad, I love our people, and I'm not going to like jump right into the 420 as much as I would like to, as you know.
As I know.
What I want to do, I want to provide value, and I want to talk a little bit about hate. You know, one of the things I hate is going to webinars and you hear these guys drone about these setups and like, look at this setup. Okay, now see this candle. Now, when this squiggly line, it always bugs me because number one, it's all arbitrary. It's never you can't reproduce it, and it's always annoyed me because it's like the same thing over and over and over again. So what I really wanted to do is I kind of sat there and had a talk with myself. You know how I do that.
Yeah, it started like self.
Right. What do you really need to kick some ass in the market? Like if I was really like advising, you know, Ian, my son, or Jake, your son. So here's, Brad hasn't seen these slides, by the way. It's always how we do this. Okay. All right, Brad, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm holding on.
Okay, so this is the path to profits, okay? It's really you only need to make more money, and by the way, this is kind of in everything, but for what you're here for, it's investing. And by the way, I'm really going to get philosophical on everybody, Brad, and you're going to love this, okay? So learn to commit quickly. Did I spell commit right? I hope I did. Learn to commit quickly. Brad, what does this mean in our favorite pastime?
Well, I think it means making a decision, right? Deciding whether you want to be a participant in some type of trade, regardless of the size, but making some type of decision quickly.
That's right. And so the interesting part of that, right, is understanding that what does it take? So Brad, how about this is the next question. So what does it take to make a decision quickly? This is kind of a trick question. I don't expect Brad to...
Yeah, I think there are a lot of different ways. I think, well, experience certainly helps someone make that decision quickly.
But wouldn't you agree on a philosophical level that learning to make quick decisions, learning to commit quickly is done by committing quickly? That's pretty much the only thing.
I won't argue that, and I'd almost want to add instinct to it, you know.
Right, but it's kind of like instinct can develop or be honed, like feel, right? But gets honed from doing it. And I know you guys, listen, I'm telling you that we're going to show you our software and all this stuff, but listen to this because this is what's holding you back, and this is what holds every single investor back. And by the way, literally, you know, talking about golf, right, Brad? Brad and I play, and it's really committing to the shot. I mean, if you read about what pros do to play at that incredibly high level that they play to, is this no mental dialogue in your head. Oh, is this my level? No, wait, I got to wait for it to pull back. Oh, wait a minute, are the spies coming down? Like, I'm telling you stuff that, like, I hear from people all the time. Oh, what are the spies doing? Forget about that. What you need to do is, boom, you need to learn to commit quickly, and that's it. Then, once you learn this, there's really, it's a simple 1-2 punch. There you go. This is the simple adult path to successful investing. Brad, I mean, isn't it important when we show people, whether they're our customers, our prospective customers, but they've got to know the purity of it too, right? You know, I kind of think of what we're doing here is a little bit of Harvey Pinnock kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, you have to know how to react once you're in it. You have to know what you're going to do with it.
Well, these are the fundamentals. You know, a lot of people a lot of people really mess up the fundamentals of active investing, okay? And fundamentals of active investing are not like knowing all the filings of the company or some levels or whatever. Computers, we can automate all of that. Ultimately, unless you're like really trying to black box something, and that actually takes away some of that beautiful human feel and intuition that we have. You just have to learn to take a position and then deal with the risk. Now, Brad, this to me then is really kind of a great segue into the rest of our presentation on what we're going to do here at Trade Ideas and how we're going to help you do both of those things. So, and again, I'm going to come back a little bit to it, but Brad, so what do we got here? I mean, this is to me, this is kind of like, before we jump into the nitty-gritty, you know, I want to talk a little bit about CPXS, who the hell it is that we are, and who you should think you are, so that you understand what you're doing here. You know, Brad, as you know, on May 19th, we're doing that open casting call for Shark Tank in Las Vegas.
That's right.
So I've been kind of practicing my bullshit, if you know what I mean. And one of the things you can see, like a Mark Cuban or a Mr. Wonderful or anybody really asking, they're like, Dan, if this stuff is so good, why are you giving it away? Why don't you just use it, become a billionaire? What's the hook? Because ultimately, unless, you know, if it really worked, you wouldn't give it away. Capitalism, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. So I had been thinking about this, and this stock, Brad, actually came to mind, CPXS. So let's look at this just really quickly. Number one.
Just an incredible percentage move, right, on the daily chart over the last month. I mean, incredible.
No question. No question. And by the way, I mean, we've been talking about this stock often. People who come here and people who have been to these webinars, you know we've talked about it, but I want to give you a philosophical perspective. Okay? What is it really an active investor? Are you a day trader? Are you a swing trader? Are you a buy and holder? I mean, all that stuff is bullshit. Okay? Do you know what you really are? Do you know what I am? We are a wealth hacker. Okay? That's what it is. This is wealth hacking. Because how else is wealth acquired? Well, you're either accidentally fall out of the right uterus. That's the easiest way to do it. You know, there are some statistical ways you can, you know, win the lottery. Real estate's one place to do it, but it requires an immense amount of capital. The stock market is the only other place where wealth gets kind of redistributed, or people can jump wealth strata. So we are here, ladies and gentlemen, because we are all wealth hacking. Okay, we want to increase our wealth so we can do some of the other things that we may want to do in life. That's the pursuit of happiness. This is our dream, but it gets better, Brad.
I'm listening, Dan. I'm listening.
Well, pal, I mean, let's talk about the truth. I mean, remember we said we brought this thing up like over here, and I said I didn't hold on to it, and I got out of it like at 8:30 because I thought to myself, I said, Jesus, even though I'm atheist, I was like, Jesus, from 100 shares from like 2 to That's a lot of percent. Get out, you idiot! And then it had this day, whatever. And but look where it is right now. So we are wealth hacking because we are also who is buying this stock and speculating in this stock and making this stock move. It is us, people like us. Because I mean, again, look at the volume, 2.78 million, and look what this company is doing. Right? This is the meritocracy, the beauty of the market. Now, will they succeed? We don't know, but these guys are trying to make cancer cures. And this is what we are able to do. This is why I say that what we are doing, active investing, is the modern day new venture capital, where don't look at yourself as some guy who wants to get into just simply, 4 letters and get out and all that stuff. It's deeper than that. Because you can empower stuff like this. Or in the case of like lumber liquidators, you can take money away from them, which is what happened when that guy published that report about how the company had fraudulent controls and all this stuff. And look, there was a lot of time to disseminate the news. Look at this, from 120 to 86 to 105 to 86. Surely that was a double bottom. And here it broke out. Here we go.
Getting ready to go to the moon. Nope.
Right. So that's why we say forget what your eyes. If you're trying to learn setups from a teacher, from a chart, that's like you going into professional basketball coaching and going, all right, I'll take the African American guys. That's the pattern that you see on these graphs. They all look the same. And of course, you can, to some extent, believe that you have a sixth sense feeling about it. But we know, because we're in the data mining business, that that's not the case. So now we're trying to get to the point of how do we all become more wealthy? Okay? We become more wealthy by taking advantage of information that other people have not yet seen. Okay? In this case, like when all of a sudden lumber liquidators starts going above, let me grab you here. Hold on, dang it, 1 second. Properties, remove crosshairs, okay. So like when this price goes above here, it's really starting to kind of completely try to get out of this area and could have some serious momentum just on a profiling psychological level. Because again, a lot of pain has been digested here, ladies and gentlemen. And what we try to do is we try to combine the science of deep, deep number crunching with the profiling of the emotional aspect of what's happening, so that we put you in situations where the profits that you get are more on the lines, again, of wealth hacking versus, the 5% or 3% that everyone's been taught to accept as normal. That's the thing, Brad, that frustrates me, is that, when you hear stuff on CNBC, and obviously this all has to do with how information is fed to people, and I'm glad that the audience is here because this is important. I mean, you don't really hear about the CPXXs or, or what you could have been. Like, look at Silver City. This is another perfect example, and it kind of touches on the Q&A aspect of what we're doing here. I don't want you to be thinking about programming trade ideas because you don't need to do that. What I want you to think about is that we are trying to find these kinds of statistical moonshots. And okay, so Silver City was a stock that was a trade ideas trade of the week. Brad, am I not? I'm pretty sure it was.
It definitely was.
Yeah, I think that was like right here, if my mouse is on it. And then it went up from like there all the way to 26, came back, and is now at 32. I mean, that's hopefully all I can say is that we're trying to build trust through examples and to show you that it's really not simply a stock picks call game, right? It's a methodology combined with statistical analysis. So what is our methodology? So our methodology is trying to find situations where, something has gone like haywire and we think it kind of mean reversion to an extent, although it's more like, like we said, situational exploitation. We have all these situations that are looking to find this kind of move and this kind of move and on different time frames. So Solar City, to me, is a great example, Brad, but it also, let me put it back over here. Just a lot of times I want to make sure that people understand that, what is Trade Ideas, Brad? I mean, Trade Ideas is ultimately an investment discovery platform that tells you what to buy, what to sell, and how to manage the risk. It gives you all those things like how to learn to commit quickly and then learn to deal with it. I mean, that's what you need to do. But also, the data underneath it is what's fueling all of these channels where you're always going to be finding things that are incredibly interesting. Okay? We have the access and the gateway to the most interesting things that are happening in the market, regardless of where they are. And specifically, the things that we always want to point out are the things that, the non-Facebook, the non-Twitter, the non-Google and Apple types of things, because that stuff is spent, and I don't mean that like they're bad companies, they're amazing companies. But you don't want to be swimming in a, like, I don't know if you've seen, there's pools of, there's pictures of water pools in China, Brad, on Facebook. You see that? And like, everyone is like in this tube and they're all on top of each other.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, doesn't seem very sanitary and doesn't seem very inviting to me. And what a lot of people don't know is that when they're trading like the very active, fangy kind of stocks, that they're actually in that pool. Like you've got, the fundamental people who are trying to like do long-term buying and selling in that thing. You've got the quants that are just trying to like arbitrage some information in them. You've got like the people reading the news headlines and searching for the symbols. You have like all these people predating on those stocks because there's enough people on there to hunt. Whereas we kind of like, put you into situations and stocks where it's not always, and again, I'm using examples that I wouldn't maybe necessarily even buy or sell, but something like this that goes, that's only traded 12,000 shares. That's very, very, very small, but that's today. Tomorrow it could trade 50,000 or 100,000 and be 10 points higher, depending on what these companies do. That's the interesting kind of thing that happens in this market. Stocks that have a certain profile, and that's what we look for here, okay? Stocks that have a certain profile where there's large potential to move either because of the price structure, because of their behavior structure, because of their overall structure, and again, it's a combination of fundamental, price, and social. We put it all together and we bring it up to your attention. So then, Brad, talking simply about how, how do you know if the stuff that you're doing works? Feedback. You and I golf. Feedback, the way your ball is flying is the best feedback you have in golf. That tells you a lot about what's going on. With the stocks, it's the same kind of way. Like stocks do stuff, but the question is, well, is what you're looking for a good idea or a bad idea? So here's how you grade yourself. With Trade Ideas, you're able to take any stock, okay, and I'm giving you the formula that I use. This is literally my routine. So, and it's a good one because I happen to be pretty good at this. So I take any stock and I simply make a quick visual of like, oh, okay, I see this level looks significant. I put an alert like right here. I type looks significant and I hit save. Okay, notice I've got my direction in there, the dates, everything, and here it appears as a red line. Now I never have to worry about this again. Again, same thing. I can come here, and this way, because it's so easy now to keep track of everything, okay, we're literally evolving the trade like kind of routine to another level, because you're simply, in any off hours, this is the last bit of information we have. You come here, you put an alert in, you say...
I mean, that right there, that stock is super significant. And one of the things that stand out, I mean, look at the last week of volume on that daily chart right there. All pretty huge. And then when you look at your single stock window over on the upper right, you can see the relative volume today is 14 times its normal average 30-day volume. So that's pretty significant stuff.
By the way, I feel like, just from a UI perspective, when it's like that, we should probably do a different color.
Yeah, that's a big number. I mean, 14 times, that's a very significant number.
So what Brad's pointing out, and very eloquently, if I may say, is the simplicity of this footprint. Let me expand this just a little bit, grab it here. No, let's just expand it a little bit. Again, a little harder to see, okay, but right here. Imagine meteor shock, boom, right? Like, this is like ripple, 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 ripple. Shock, boom, ripple, 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 ripple. Brad, do you like I
think he may be coming back to life.
Boom. We got a heartbeat. Grey's Anatomy, boom, 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 beep, beep.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
And by the way, if you take yourself too seriously doing this, you're doing it wrong, because that's not how you succeed. Have fun at it. You've got to kind of be able to, only when you are in a state of like kind of relaxed and having fun do you come up with the best price levels to gauge it on. And that's 100% just pure fact. So here again, you can do it in so many different directions. You can find, well, this one's too little. But let's move on to a part of the discussion that I want to just tell you guys. So, as CEO of Trade Ideas, I was at the Cannabis Cup in San Bernardino. I was a judge. Okay, and not that that's specifically relevant for Trade Ideas, except for the fact cannabis stocks at one point were just, they were wealth hack makers. I mean, there was something that went from like 20 cents to $80 and back. But the bottom line is there's really a strong undercurrent, even more so than recently now, in terms of legalization. And look at like what's been happening in some of these stocks. Okay, so I mean, you're talking about here something that went from in February from $4 to right now in April, 100%. So, and look at where it's been, by the way. So all of you guys, this is one of the reasons why we have these channels. So what's really great about, working with Trade Ideas is not only, do we really give you everything, but, we really try to kind of walk the walk and talk the talk of being, technology innovators. We want you to profit on, this is not just because we think it's cool, we want you to profit on the possibility. This thing had a tremendous run up, at one point it was at $23 and it's traded down to $4, like almost discounting like the apocalypse. But nothing could be further from the truth based on what I saw at the Cannabis Cup. So on these pullbacks, there could be some really interesting opportunities. The one that I have been in since like right here, 27, 28 is TerraTech, okay? And look at, again, the percentages. You're talking about from 28 cents to 70 cents. It trades 21 million shares. And this company is totally for real. You can look it up. I mean, this is why this information is here. This is the thing. Just be open-minded, okay? That's the other part about wealth hacking. You can't hack wealth and be closed-minded and think that, you're going to do it exactly the way everyone else does. There's no such thing. That's why wealthy people are different. They've done it something totally differently, and so do you. Ultimately, it comes to taking some risks. Risks is, again, possibly, buying trade ideas, subscription, and then secondly, being able to make these quick decisions. But thirdly, and very importantly, is being focused and being able to see information that others aren't paying attention to, and that's what I'm trying to show you here. Okay, and that is the marijuana market is heating up again, and you all should be taking, a note, and you can simply, do the same thing that we talked about before, where you can just start putting some price alerts and say, going higher, because, look at this. Look at the opportunities if you had some insight. And again, I'm not saying that I necessarily would have traded this. I think this one goes in step with a GWPH. So, and this thing is kind of a powerhouse. They've been as high as, look at here, from 132 to 37 to 86. We're talking about some serious percentage points. So don't dismiss it. And, this is a good opportunity to kind of scroll down towards the bottom end of the channel. Look at all the different things that are out there. The product is so deep, 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 like the trenches of the ocean, Brad. So deep.
Well, a lot of people don't really take the time to scroll down and see some of the different offerings on the channel bar, and it's really just other curated themes that we've put together.
Yeah. No, and it's all designed. You guys, you don't really need to, we've already have the indices and we changed the channels. We're already working for you. We're like your valet and your driver and your dry cleaner together. We're trying to get it all going so that you can just take advantage of this. And again, to us, alpha, right? Wealth hacking, it's just percentages. Get your in at 72 and get out at, my Jesus, is at 160. There was enough volume for it. This is what we're about. Don't be shy of anything as long as it's tradable. That's the advantage of being a wealth hacker in the U.S. equities market. Brad, would you patent that wealth hacking, please?
I'll get right on that.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's bring Scott in for a quick, just high-level overview of the business, and then Brad, you and I will dive back into the questions and some of the other stuff having to do with Holly at the very end.
Yeah, excellent. Put on the slide with the prices, or just kind of explain for those of the attendees that may not be familiar with it. We're a software as a service company at our core, so our model is built around a monthly subscription plan. It's $99 a month. It's recurring. There's no contract. You can cancel at any time. It includes all your real-time data and exchange fees. Also includes the charting and a free one-on-one screen sharing session for training. So whenever you sign up, go immediately to the support page, click on training, and select your preferred time and date for that training, and we'll get you started with that. It's a great way to learn how to get the right kind of layout for yourself, find where everything is. And also we have an annual plan. It's $888 a year, and that saves a bundle over the $99 a month. All the same great stuff. In order to get the limit alerts, which we call pricing alerts, the back testing module, and very importantly, the AI, Holly, it requires a one-time license cost of $1,100, and that gets you the lifetime AI odds maker license. And that lets you back test the entire market without any kind of scripting or programming at all. And you can also find strategies that are working in the market right now with the statistics using the AI. We'll come back and give you some specials a little bit later on. In the meantime, I'll let Dan and Brad go ahead and continue with the prezo. Guys?
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you very much. So, Brad, let's jump into some of the questions. And Eduardo said, I'm interested in momentum scanning. Do you have pre-market and momentum scanners? Can I customize them? So, Eduardo, the answer is, of course, we do. And not only can you customize them, but let's start with you don't have to. Number one, here's the beautiful sunshine of the pre-market channel. lets you instantly see what's gapping up, what's gapping down, as well as what's continuing to make pre-market highs and lows, and is showing unusual pre-market volume. And of course, at the same time, you can quickly, everything's already pre-linked. Everything you see, you can see it, and then, make whatever, if it catches your attention, if you like what you're seeing, come right here and just say limit, and then, whoa, what a comeback. See, what that means is this thing just came down and it's going right back up, and we'll trade it through. That way, again, you know why you put it in there. It's not emotional, and you know exactly what's going on. So here, GPN was right here at the bottom when it started to go up, moving up pre-market. So that's kind of how that works. You also have after hours. Now, all of these windows, every single one of them that I'm moving around, we teach you how you can set them up for your own custom stuff if you want to, but our whole modus operandi has been less tinkering and more deciding and investing. We've done the work for you, and 99, and I don't want to be rude, Brad, but I'm going to say you and I are not better than 99% of our customers in terms of configuring, as you should be, because this is what we spend our time. We're the hackers of the hacking thingy. Right, Brad? Come on, Brad.
I don't disagree with you, but we have made it incredibly easy if you want to do it yourself. And
Totally. But in the Q&A, I don't always like to jump
we don't need to necessarily get into how to do it at all, but the reality is that this is a piece of clay. I mean, this thing is such a configurable tool that we've essentially configured it all for you. But if you want to be the guy that does what we do, you can certainly get in here and make any of these windows your own. And then we've also created a cloud for every user, their own personal cloud, so they can modify any window, save it to their own cloud, and bring it back really easily. So manipulating the windows, really simple.
But without really jumping into the how to do it, what I would want to say instead is we take you through it, because everyone who is a customer of ours gets a one-on-one lesson with one of our educational experts, and we have people in that space who've traded, over 20 years, who've used our years to some extent, and we just provide very high-level concierge expertise, so that you can, again, spend less time tinkering and more time taking advantage of this. I mean, look at this, what's happening here, especially percentage-wise, guys. I mean, I don't even know what else you can say. This is exactly what the trend change lubricant that we hunt does. I mean, this is one example of it where it comes down. Whoops. Okay, see this? It comes down, starts building a base, and I would have wanted to be in it here, but remember this too, and Brad, I can't emphasize this enough. People often can get confused that that we're predicting something, but the future can't be predicted. We just know how to react to it better. There is no prediction, so you could have got, this looked exactly like it was about to go, and then it didn't. So you have to just be able to deal with it. And then there was some action here that looked like it too, and then it didn't. And then you really would have had to deal with it. And this is painful now, because it sort of started to recover right here. Right, where I've been a good actor. Now I kind of get
you
it.
are a good actor.
See, look at from 37 to 70 to 8. That's a lot. And then the pain. But then on the 787th time, it really did start to go. And by the way, while I'm making fun of that, what we're doing in terms of the computers is we're trying to isolate these from the noise of these, which look very similar. But this is what you need to be. This is where you need to be paying attention. Okay? I mean, look at these moves. There is nothing better. You're not going to get this kind of move in real estate in 5 days, anywhere. Okay, Brad, do you have one of your strategies up for David?
Yeah, let me grab one. Let me just give me a moment. Let me grab one.
Sure. So here's an example of a window called Speedy Gonzalez that I made up because, again, I like to make silly names for windows. But the idea is that they really try to point you into the direction of stuff that's starting to go. And one of the other things that you should see is that because Trade Ideas makes our own market data, it gives us a lot of abilities to give you freedom of when you do this stuff. So here, again, and by the way, if you're not a customer, write some of these names down. So here I'm setting an alert for IPI, and this looks awesome. Again, you will see that I'm not doing anything tricky. I'm repeating a lot. By the way, Bank of America is on fire. So here's something interesting. Notice that we don't also just do penny stocks. We're behaviorally analyzing things, and sometimes huge market cap and huge float companies still come into the type of behavior that we want to be watching. Okay, let me grab that, Brad.
So what I did was I sent you one of our AI strategies. So this isn't a shareable strategy because it gets updated quite regularly, but this is a strategy called Moxie, and it's a strategy that's looking for an unusual number of prints that are occurring in a footprint, kind of a pattern that's indicating that this is going to be some type of bullish upward move.
Okay, so David, so here's how the backtest looks, and here's how it runs. So I go to backtest strategy, and this one I believe is a buy, Brad?
Yeah, this is a buy.
Okay, this is a buy. Here's where you set the time. So here I'm not trading for the first half hour because in general we like to simulate a normal kind of adult who doesn't want to jump into the volatility of the institutional kind of open. And at the same time, you're not going to be adding to positions in the last hour. If anything, you're going to be just managing them, just being conservative. And then we hit simulate buy. And as Brad said, what we're doing here is we're testing the idea of what happens when all of a sudden buy starts hitting an unusual number of transactions starts hitting the tape. So this is what this strategy looks like. This is what this test looks like. You can see from the calendar heat map that the strategy return is 16% with a projected annual of 157. You got to hear the reason we have 3 curves is because we actually simulate things in real life. So there's the straight up how much you win, then there's the commission and the slippage. Okay. So and you can kind of work around. So here I can lose 5 cents in and 5 cents out and still know that I'm, still doing pretty well for the overall strategy. I have an expectation now that if I'm just generally following this type of scenario, the behavior is my average winner is 56 cents and my average loser is 24 cents. I like that because, again, it gives me some idea of what to expect when I'm making my decision to commit quickly. So, David, did we answer your question? The wiggle is a number of give, like how much you're going to give a stock specifically based on each stock's unique behavior, its volatility and its range and stuff like that. So wiggle room. So when you're in a position, what kind of wiggle room do you give it? Stop room. Okay, so I'm moving Moxie, and by the way, Brad, are we allowed to share Moxie?
No, we're not, because the reason is, and it's the whole concept of AI. This is the strategy that was optimized for today, but when Holly gets this after market, she's going to change it around a little bit.
Yep. Sorry, guys. Yeah, not this one, but I can always throw in a possible strategy next time around. But this is what the back testing looks like. But again, you do not have to simply do your own back testing anymore because we've really gone away from that as well. And this is the thing that I really believe is revolutionizing what we're doing. And I'm just putting this up for just a second because ultimately the way you are going to make decisions really quickly, there's only one way to do it. You're going to have to trust that what you're seeing is going to happen, whatever it is that's about to happen. So what we did is we simulated what a trader who's following all the best rules and has the best access to number crunching would do. And that trader would be intelligent enough to exploit things that are breaking out, exploit things that are V-bottoming, exploit things that are breaking down, or all of a sudden starting to get active from being completely, dead or not interesting. So we have all of that done for you, and the whole notion of, again, just where can you focus attention, okay? We now go right back to our AI, and I'm going to talk about what is that to the tune of allocating resources and efficiency, what we're trying to do to get you to be more profitable, for you to make more money. And at the same time, by the way, this is, if you guys have more questions, feel free to ask. Everything is kind of loading up. Okay, so first of all, in terms of what you're seeing here, let me just move this down a little bit. So our AI consists of different strategies that are designed to take advantage of whatever the market's going on. And the number of strategies that are either buying or selling has to do with how well they've tested based on yesterday and, of course, also the last 3 months. So every single night, what our system is doing, it's kind of taking what she learned today and then rethinking about everything, so that if it was possible to take advantage of some shorts before that she would have done it. And that's why maybe all of a sudden Bollinger reversion scalp appeared today. But it kind of also gives you a bias. It helps you to see that statistically speaking, which way was the wind blowing? And the wind was definitely a tailwind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8, 2, 3. So our AI suggested that from doing like the millions of trades that she's doing right now to figure out what to do tomorrow, so far the bias has still been bullish. Although today Holly totally lost 48 cents. There was actually some incredible opportunities from the AI, and we're going to talk about how to take advantage of them real quick. So any questions about anything that that we've discussed so far?
Yeah, I think we're caught up in the question panel here.
Okay, so I've kind of talked a little bit about the circular path or a routine. Okay, so for me, the routine of what am I investing or trading in is I channel surf, and then once the AI starts trading, I really focus mostly on the AI because that's where the numbers are. Okay, and I try to either follow the ones that, again, appeal to me, and that's so you can say, well, what appeals to you? This is the part that nobody can answer for you but you. Okay, this is your personal thing. You have to figure out what works for you mentally and what doesn't, but the idea is that in terms of trust, you're just not, first of all, going to find any other product in fintech that is doing what we're doing, where we're getting into positions and you can watch the P&L live. Like if our subscription service is growing so fast right now, and you can't do that if you're not making money for people. So how are we making money for people? Well, first of all, we are getting them into trades that work. We are getting them out of trades when you need to get out of them, always taking statistically sound losses. And again, even though you can have a couple of negative days and even possibly together over the long run, our statistical approach simply will prevail because we're taking the path of least resistance. Then in terms of how to really take advantage of this, okay, both myself and Barry Anderson, and Barry is our lead moderator at Trade ID, is a fantastic asset to the team, and Barry is in he heads our trading room. Every morning there's somebody every morning there's somebody discussing their setups and trades with Barry there helping, and a whole vivid, vivacious community that just likes to progress forward and help everybody do better. So it's free, by the way, for everyone, and you don't even have to be a Trade Idea subscriber to be here. But this is where the asset is, where again, you're not exactly sure how to make a decision quick, you can bounce it very quickly off of somebody in this room. So the data here, and Barry in the room tells people about this all the time, is what the advantage of what we do and how you make money off of it is that we have pieces of data that other people don't have. Okay? So one of the most important pieces of data I'm pointing right here is this. I'm going to really make it big, even though, just so it's wide. So this is the non-exit P&L. So the non-exit P&L basically says, okay, so guys, I got you into this trade at MEOH. Let me bring it up and you can kind of see. I got you into it here, and I got you out of it at 33.98, like somewhere right there, okay, for 58 cents. But it finished a little bit higher at 34.03, so if I held it till the close, I would have been up this much. Now, the point is not to say, well, what if and cherry pick, but the point is to find the things that you can really catch as they are turning, or at the same time, find the ones where, I'm trying to bring it up, where did it go? Here, this one. Find the ones that reiterate to you that there's nothing wrong and there's there isn't a reason to panic. Because even though after the exit time, based on the rules that we set up for our AI, the software is still telling you, hey, this position is profitable, it's profitable, it's profitable, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay. So you really, again, could have even maximized it longer if you chose to. So this is all done by design. Okay, so consider this for a minute. So being so precise like we are trying to do, nobody's ever done that before, and it's not easy to do. Trade Ideas is the only company in FinTech that's trying to say, hey, we're going to give you a bunch of profitable trades, all intraday, but in stocks that you should possibly be in longer term, and that's the whole point. Everything you see here is interesting, not just because it's a day trade, but it's interesting because this company is doing something interesting in its behavior, and you should be paying attention. Okay, so this is designed for the trade around. So if you look at GPI, this is where I wanted to kind of explain where we got into this stock approximately an hour after the open. Okay, just an hour and 20 minutes after the open. And the exit time was about an hour, and we lost 8 cents on the trade. But because this window is open the whole time, right? You're watching this and you can see, well, what is happening right after that, and you would have quickly seen, okay, that it really just...
And you don't even need to be watching it, Dan. That's where you pop in that price alert, It clears out, it exits, and you put your price alert so you can move on.
Brad, you are so advanced. I'm just like, I'm on the basic grip, and you're already taking a swing at it. But you're right, because I didn't realize how late it is. Brad is right. And by the way, so to the tune of longer term, right? So we got you into GPI today. You could have gotten 91 cents out of it, although the system lost money, and that's reflected in here. But here's the best part right here. Okay, let's come in here and just put a nice little alert right here to racing.
And Dan, I always like to put some type of note that indicates that happened to be an AI signal, and I'll even put like AI call 420 or something, just to give me that notification, because this could happen 3 days, 4 days from now.
So no, you're absolutely right. So let me explain what Brad's doing. Brad, that's why we're here together. You pointed out a very important thing. So let's look at Netflix. Okay, so Netflix is in a very, this is again emotion, people. Right? Look at this gigantic tanking from 131 to whatever this is right here, 83, and then the steady climb back to 100, and then boom, the annihilation, but a pretty solid run. So this one's kind of interesting on both sides, and this is the flexibility and the beauty of the software, right? So number one, I'm going to show you, so let's go short. If it goes to 92, 93, look out below, because whatever it means that this whole thing's been removed. and I'm going to say, as Brad pointed out, AI for 20, no, really, the date, seriously. Because, you know, Brad, I'll be looking at it later. I'll be like, what?
Yes.
It's not easy working with me, ladies and gentlemen. So that's on the short side, right?
Bookended.
Right, so now it's bookended. Let's pop it like just above here. Or actually, we can even go clear path. How about right here? It is alive on 4/20. I was right. So again, see, so now I have a course of action for both things, and I've just simplified my life. You know, this way you don't have to get all emotional about what you do. You do the important part, the subjective part, kind of off hours. But you're powered by AI, which is crunching numbers, telling you that something interesting is going on. And look, again, here too, CTRN. This is how, again, you don't lose what you see every single day. We made 6 cents that's reflective in here. You could have made 54 today, which is a very nice percentage point considering, look where we bought this, Brad. I mean, which is an exploitation. We're trying to find these bottoms. I mean, this was a beautiful, beautiful purchase. But guess what? If it continues to go to here.
And you know, it's interesting, you know, the name of that strategy, support is that you. You can see that intraday chart right there and where it actually pulled that signal out, where that blue arrow is, right at the support level for the day. So there's a lot of logic, you know, that goes into some of these strategies as well. And you can see that it never really got to a point negative. I mean, this was...
Well, this is what we're trying to do.
Trade.
So, I mean, consider this, people. You know, if you're asking yourself, is it worth it, what these guys are doing? I mean, look at what we got you into. And this was a losing day for us, which, by the way, goes against us. So if you want to know here, just for sake of, like, trust, right? So we've been keeping tabs on how we numerically perform against the SPY ETF. This is right now the best methodology that we're using to compare, because there's a lot of tricky math if you want to get serious about portfolio and what can and can't be imitated. But the bottom line is this SPY can gap up and keep going, or it can gap down and keep going. We have to start flat every single day and trade against it from scratch, either points up or points down. This is what the performance looks like. Okay? We're up close to 40 points more than the SPY since we started this from the beginning. And that's why our subscriptions grow, because, again, this works. This is the numbers. And you have to kind of appreciate, Brad, this is the thing to me, at least. First of all, notice this. Okay? We're playing both sides. And on the short side, believe it or not, like some of that stuff was almost, you know, from the long run, it's like better than the long performance, interestingly, just from a pure, you know, 3 out of 4 non-exits. So you have all of these opportunities to take advantage of the market, whichever way it goes. Joe, right now we do not have a futures channel, but we are in discussions and working on some of that. You know, the futures are a little bit different. Primarily, the big trade ideas advantage is that we are able to track the 25,000 tradable securities all at once and crunch numbers on them all at once. So the futures aren't exactly the same. There isn't as huge of a number, but I believe the whole AI side, we're going to bring it to the futures market as well. But again, guys, it should be pretty simple. You know, we're giving you some very, very interesting trades, very interesting setups that, again, are statistically valid. And even if they aren't today, Trade Ideas makes it easy for you to always be connected with the AI. Connect this to you. I'm talking to myself here. But seriously, I mean, I want to show that you have to make it fun, make it interesting, but this isn't rocket science, right? Forget the, oh, one of the worst, Brad, I almost forgot to tell you. Do you know what's like one of the worst all-time words in investing and trading?
I do
Why?
not. Why?
It's why. Why? Why do you need to know why? Stop the why. Nobody knows the why. The Fed
Yeah, a
doesn't
lot of
know the
times
why.
there isn't an answer for you, right?
That's the thing. Accept the not knowing the why and just take advantage of the what. That's my advice to you, my people. I love you. Come to us. We will help you take advantage of the what. We have the best technology in the universe for the retail active investor. You know, this is designed to teach you this tool. You follow it, you learn what to do, you become better, you hone your instincts. You know, this is like a flight simulator, but better, because you can instantly take off with it. So, Brad, what else we got?
No, I think it's a good segue. It's a good I think a good spot to turn it over to Scott for the final. We do have one more question here from Eduardo. He's using a Mac for trading. So, you know, we do have this tool available on the web. Now, right now, Holly, the AI engine, is in development for the web, but everything other than that is available on the web, and it's a really robust platform, free-floating windows, configuration, channels, just like you see here.
Yeah, so, I mean, one thing I want you guys to understand, I mean, if you really think about how serious what's happening here technologically, I mean, either you believe that this tech that we got is so easy, everyone can do it, and it's bullshit, which, you know, that just means I haven't done a good job conveying the value proposition. But if you understand what we're doing and like AI that's working for you and how cool all of that is, then appreciate what Scott's about to tell you, because we basically give it to you for free. You know, you kind of, my wife and I, Sherry and I, we always joke that we kind of give this, our price is a bottle of nice wine a month. I mean, if you really break it down monthly, you know, that's how much Trade Ideas cost. I never actually thought about it that way until she said it. Made me think I should raise prices. But I won't. Unless I'm drunk. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so anyway, Scott, you know, I can't possibly help you any more than I already have.
Yeah, awesome. Let's put on slide 10. We've actually got a little something different today, so to avoid, to avoid confusion, there's a handout for you all in the handouts panel on your GoToWebinar page. So we have our normal webinar promotions like we normally do that are good until Friday, but because it's 420, this one's only good from today until tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern. So it's a little bit different, lets you save a little bit more than the other one, but it's not drastically different. It's really good though, because it lets you get a full year of Trade Ideas and the AI lifetime for just $14.20. So that's 1,420, right? Go to this link, bit.ly/420day, all capitals for the day, bit.ly/420day, and that'll run down this stuff and let you click through to buy any of these prices. You can get the first month for just $42, which is 42.0, you know. First year Trade Ideas for just $704.20. And the only one you need a code for here is to get the AI odds maker for $770 lifetime. That's Holly 420. And that code happens to be the same as the normal promotional code this week for a webinar promotion, and that code's good until Friday. So the Holly 420, all caps, is good until Friday. So if we jump to the next slide, if you don't happen to take advantage of the 420 specials that you can get to by going to that web page that I just showed you, you can use this by Friday afternoon. So anytime between now and Friday afternoon, you can use the code HOLLY420, that's all caps, HOLLY 420, to take half off your first month, so that's $49 a month. You get 20% off your first year, get the first year for just $710, or get the lifetime license 30% off, $770. And just like that other combo, if you go to bit.ly/AI Holly, all caps, and it's on the next page, you can save $500 automatically by getting the entire combo for just $14.80. If you do it today using that link I gave you, the bit.ly/420 day, you can get it for $14.20 instead of $14.80. But using this other link, you can get it for $14.80 if you use the code before Friday. It saves you over $500. Great way, just a great upgrade from if you're just on the monthly and you're thinking about getting the AI. This is the way to go. You can get locked in for the year. You get locked in at the $888 rate. Even if we increase our price later this year, you're going to be locked in at that for your renewals, and just overall fantastic value. Dan, that's about it. Everyone can download that PDF. There'll be a recording up later tonight or tomorrow morning. And thanks, guys.
Mardo, it comes with everything. So you get all trade ideas and, of course, all the higher functionality. So that's one of the other nice things what Eduardo was saying. But
yeah. Yeah, so if you want to save a little bit extra today and celebrate 420, use that bit.ly/420 capital DAY link. Otherwise, the other promo code's good through Friday. Hope you all decide to get into the AI and come on to be subscribers. We've got a webinar this evening and then another little educational one tomorrow, and then that's it for the week. Dan, thank you. Thanks, Brad.
Thank you, everybody. Really enjoy it. Hope you learned something, and come on board. We'd love to share some opportunities with you. Thank you.
Yeah, and any questions, email info@trade-ideas.com.